did some things we're not proud of when we were kids, okay?
Or like last night.
Yeah.
Over the weekend.
On the way here.
Maybe on the way here.
Yeah. Some kids party, some kids skip school, some kids are vandals, all right? Speaking of vandalism, did you know that in California, parents are financially liable for up to $25,000 for vandalism that their teens commit?
That's weird to me that there's a cap on it.
Yeah. Well, I understand the cap.
Do you?
I do. Because you know what? The thing is that you could bust a family. If you have a kid who is just unruly and is always out there, tagging stuff and what have you, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, it does beg the question, though, like, if you're not going to hold... Here's the thing about our culture legally, like, we don't hold kids responsible. So, for a lot of things, so who's responsible then? Because if it's my $250,000 worth of damage, 25 grand is going to make me really mad.
Right.
I'll be like, somebody got to come up with this. We falling short on fairness.
Right, well, we have somebody to talk to you about that, all right? Let's bring on attorney Joseph Land to fill us in. Hi. Joseph?
Hello.
Chris? Hi. Why are parents financially liable for what their kids do?
Well, the answer to why could be many different things. I think the unspoken purpose of many of these laws is that they will be as like a deterrent against poor parenting, maybe scaring parents into paying more attention. I kind of feel like maybe it's something different, like just like you were just saying, if we have, if there's $200,000 worth of damage and a teen can't pay, then at least there's something that this party who is out $200,000 worth of belongings gets.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to throw this out here. I feel like it's also, I'm going to say it like I feel it, a poor tax, on the poor, tax on the poor. Because what happens is that if you're wealthy and your kid messes up, that's the first thing people do is they pay their way out of the problem. But if you're not wealthy and you have a kid that messes up, that's a $25,000 hit is a huge hit.
I don't disagree.
But I see the argument for, so legally, like, are the parents always liable? I know California has this limit. I don't know if you know if other states do, but are parents liable for what their teenagers do, period?
Yes, a lot of states have these rules now. They're mostly civil at this point. They're actually going into criminal, where if your teen has a criminal action, that you could actually be yourself charged for something if you act negligent. So it's starting to really actually go from just civil into criminal as well.
So if a teenager does do, like we just were saying, $200,000 worth of damage, but there's a limit, the parents only owe $25,000, who does owe the rest legally? Anyone?
Well, that's a very good question. You could essentially still have a judgment against the teenager so that it follows the teenager through life. I've seen circumstances like that. There's insurance situations where the homeowner's insurance might have to kick up some money, but in a lot of situations, you might be forced with a situation like where you're just basically out of luck and you have all this damage.
Wow.
Dang, that doesn't seem fair either.
I know. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Joseph.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure, guys.
Thank you.
So we polled our Frangelistas to find out if their teens should be the ones who are financially responsible for the damage they cause. And 100% said yes.
Wow.
I think you were conflicted. I think you weren't sure. No, y'all said yeah. I think I'm a little disturbed by the limit.
Yeah. We also hit the streets and asked Frangelistas if they'd make their kids pay for the damage. Take a look.
I would definitely make my kid pay for anything they vandalized. Although I didn't have to pay for anything I vandalized, so I'm kind of a hypocrite.
I know my mom, if I did something like that, she would make me do it too. So yes, absolutely, I will make them pay for the damages.
Yeah, I agree. I think that should. Here's the thing: you've talked about class differences. I think there are ethnic differences in how people get treated in this country.
Absolutely.
And that when you make a mistake, this is the thing that you learn about growing up. Those mistakes can follow you.
Absolutely.
And that may be the way you learn this lesson.
Yeah.
So joining us on the phone is best-selling author and teen mental health specialist, Dr. Callie Estes, to talk about how to parent teen vandals. Let's ask her. Dr. Estes, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yay, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So what makes a teen act out?
Well, it's a couple different things. The biggest one being that teens generally have an impulse control disorder, which basically means as you're growing up, you do things without thinking because you don't really understand what the repercussion is. So in this case, they're tagging things, they're stealing things, they're breaking into cars because they're not thinking long term. They're not thinking if I do this today and I get a criminal record, it's going to stay with me 10 years down the line when I'm trying to get that job and I get declined. Or mom and dad have to pay $25,000 worth of damage 3 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now. They're not thinking about that. They're acting in the moment.
Right. So what's the best way for parents, if I have a teen that's out there tagging stuff or, boosting cars.
Boosting car, that's a felony, Francis.
I know.
That's stealing a car.
I know, but you know what I'm saying?
You went from spray paint to felony car auto theft.
But if I'm that parent and I have an unruly teen, what should I be doing? And I've talked to them, I've set them down. What should I be doing?
So I'm going to go against the grain of everything that you've probably heard. And I'm going to say there's two things that teens should be involved in. One of them is martial arts, and one of them is yoga, because both teach centering and balancing and controlling your emotions, which teens cannot do because they don't know how. They're going through hormonal changes. They have peer pressure. They have all of these things. Nothing teaches them centering and balancing like yoga and martial arts.
Wow,
so what I would do as a parent, if I find out my child is doing unruly things, I would require them to join martial arts and require them to take yoga classes and meditation classes because that's going to change their behavior.
Help them get control of themselves.
It's going to take up some of their time so they can have less
Yes.
time to go out there and vandal and boost cars. From the wire over here, I don't know what is going on with that. So also, what do you think about some parents have chosen extreme measures, things like that when their teen gets caught vandalizing somebody else's property, they vandalize their kid's property?
That's not going to teach them anything except for how to be more vicious in the long run. So if you harm somebody and they harm you, all you're thinking about is vengeance. How can I get back at you? So all they've done is put their teen in a position where they're thinking about what's the next thing they can do that's bigger, better, faster to make an even bigger impact. It's
So you're
not going
saying
to give
that's
you the
wrong.
desired result you want.
Right.
So you're
Exactly.
saying vengeance is wrong. Okay.
right.
Correct. If you think about your child has an anger problem and they smack somebody and you come in and you smack them, all you've taught them is that anger is okay and hitting is okay. You haven't taught them, don't do this.
That's right.
Don't smack people.
Right.
I'm writing it down, Dr. Estes.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, Frangelistas, we hope you found this helpful.
That's right. Take care of your boosted car kids.
Yes.
Me Time with Frangela.